Welcome, everybody. Good evening. Please, welcome to the Town Board of the Town of Ossining regular meeting for Tuesday, June 9th, 2020. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. Virtual flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the
United States of
America and to the
republic
republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under
under God,
indivisible, with
liberty,
justice
for all.
And for the governor, our flag remains at half staff to recognize all we have lost to coronavirus. Okay, so I am going to wait for the roll call because that's up first.
Okay. Councilmember Feldman,
Present.
Councilmember Shaw,
Present.
Councilmember Meyer,
Present.
Councilmember Wiltshire,
Present.
Supervisor Levenberg,
Behind the, I don't know what, all the sun rays that are coming through. I can't get rid of them, sorry.
You sparkle.
Okay, so we're going to start with some announcements. I have a few. First of all, I wanted to share how proud I am of the Ossining community following several peaceful forums and protests which were organized by our local NAACP chapter in Ossining, our current Ossining High School students, as well as recent high school graduates. A few of our town board members and I were able to join these gatherings, and I was left so inspired by the members of our own community, young and old alike, who are truly dedicated to change. This has certainly been a difficult time since the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis, but also a time of deep reflection and exploration of how we can all do better to be anti-racist. Last Friday, we held a meeting with our Community Equity Task Force to engage community members and stakeholders on this important topic. This group started several months ago in response to symbols of hate that had appeared in our own community in an effort to expand community education on how to combat hate and hate symbols within our Ossining borders and beyond. We knew following the renewed call for change across the country that now was an important time to gather, expand beyond our initial small group of stakeholders, and reassess our mission. The first step, of course, is to listen to one another and understand the experiences of others. This group also discussed ways that we can work to dismantle systemic racism within our own institutions, educate the broader Ossining community about institutional racism, advocate against racism, ally with those who may be different from us and also those who are the same with us of many different ways, and also who are members of this effort towards unity. We thank Jalae Knowles for those important goals and concepts. Also, April Clark, who newly moved to Ossining, shared the importance of acknowledging feelings, helping to gain access for those underrepresented, and making our work inclusive and visible. Finally, thanks to Sandy McAllister of the NAACP for reminding us how important it is to engage our community elders who can share their firsthand experiences and mentor all of us to make sure we do not repeat mistakes of the past. We thank the community members, both new and more seasoned, representatives from the Ossining School District and Public Library, Ossining NAACP, recent Ossining High School graduates, our Chief of Police, and more for joining us for this meeting. This is just the beginning, and we look forward to sharing this mission out with the entire community soon. If you're interested in getting involved, please do not hesitate to contact me at dlevenberg@townofossining.com. This evening, the village hosted a village hall to also address the issues of racism with some of our young leaders, including Jalae Knowles and Catherine Buzang Hill, who are both Ossining High School graduates and are also both I think they were both teachers or teaching assistants at Roosevelt School right now. And they also shared, I think it's Ossining's Voice @gmail.com. I thought I'd written it down, but I guess I didn't. No, I think I did, but I'm gonna find it. I'm still gonna find it. Yes, it's Ossining's Voice @gmail.com to get involved with the youth-led initiative. And the village also shared information about the Youth Bureau that is going to be coming to Ossining, the first new youth bureau in the county, and I think they said 30 years. And that's going to be another avenue through which we can build new young leaders and work for change. So I'm excited to be part of that, and I hope that all of our community will continue to work together as we need to do to dismantle racism throughout all of our institutions and wherever we have control and influence. And speaking of influence, there's also been a call across the state for the state legislature to repeal 50A of the Civil Rights Law of the state of New York, which restricts public access to misconduct and disciplinary records of police officers. It's clear that misconduct of police across the state has long been kept in the shadows and out of the public eye. This is a really bad light, so I'm sorry. There, that's better. Oh, that is better. Okay, let's try that. And making these records public will help ensure accountability for all police officers across New York State. So later in this meeting this evening, my town board colleagues and I will be considering a resolution that will support the current legislation on the table in Albany, calling for the immediate repeal of 50A. I look forward to supporting this resolution and doing what I can to advocate for change as a member of this local community, and I hope my town board colleagues will join me as well. This is probably very shaky, so I'm gonna see if I can do this in a better way, which is just put this up a little bit. Not working exactly. All right. We'll keep going in this direction. Okay, we're now officially in phase 2 of the reopening of the Mid-Hudson region, which includes Westchester, Rockland, Dutchess, Orange, Putnam, Sullivan, and Ulster counties. And that is as of today, June 9th, 2020. Phase 2 brings the addition of the following industries allowed to reopen: offices, real estate, essential, and also in-store retail, vehicle sales, leases and rentals, retail rental, repair and cleaning, commercial building management, hair salons and barbershops, not nail salons. That was removed. It was supposed to be, it was in there initially and then taken out. Sorry, my nails are horrible. I'm sure yours are too. And outdoor and takeout delivery food services. Please know that indoor malls, indoor on-premise dining and bar service, large gathering and event venues, gyms, fitness centers and exercise classes, video lottery, casino, gaming facilities, movie theaters, and places of public amusement remain closed at this time. Businesses in these industries that are permitted to reopen in phase 2 must develop a written business safety plan and read and affirm industry-specific guidelines prior to reopening. Essential businesses must also develop a written business safety plan. The business safety plan does not have to be submitted to a state agency for approval, but it must be posted conspicuously on the premises of the business and made available to New York State Department of Health or local health or safety authorities upon inspection. The businesses must also adhere to specific industry guidelines established by the state. Industry-specific guidance for phase 2 and template safety plans, which you still have to go through and make sure that you have everything in them ready for your place of business, are available online at forward.ny.gov. Phase 3 industries can also get a peek at specific guidelines for their industries and begin planning. Okay, I give up. I'm sorry. Sorry, folks. Just really bad lighting tonight. What can I do? Okay. The town of Ossining is developing a permit process by which eating and drinking establishments in the unincorporated town can temporarily expand their operations to include outdoor dining in accordance with phase 2 guidance. This process is currently under review as it would require action by the town that must be authorized by the State Department of Health. If authorized by DOH, the building department will be administering this permit. And if you want to learn more, and if you have a business, we have a number of businesses that this would pertain to on North State Road, please send an email with the name and address of your business to BLDGDEPT, like short for building department, at townofossining.com. Governor Cuomo has continued to be quite active with issuing executive orders over the weekend and early this week, some that impact our day-to-day lives more than others. Over the weekend, he issued an executive order specific to the school board and budget elections, which in our case in Ossining is also the library board. As a reminder, there is no in-person voting allowed this year. Instead, all qualified voters should have received ballots directly in the mail for the school district they are located within. I know as of today, I heard that somebody did not receive that ballot. So you need to call the school districts. And the reason is, previously, all those ballots were due in by today, but over the weekend, the governor extended the date that they can be received by mail. So the school had actually set out a locked drop box outside the building at 400 Executive, or inside the building at 400 Executive Boulevard. That was available for dropping off your ballot yesterday and today by 5 o'clock today. If you didn't get it there by 5 o'clock today, you can still get it in the mail. And as long as it is received, not postmarked, but received by June 16th at 5 p.m., the school district is then and only then authorized, and the library, well, the school district opens the ballots for the library, but this is also true for Briarcliff, is then allowed to open the ballot. So if you have not received a ballot, please reach out to the district clerk in Ossining. That's Ileana Ortiz at IORTIZ@OssiningUFSD.org, or the Briarcliff School District Clerk at 914-432-8130. This is the 11th hour at this point, but you still do have time to fill out your ballots and put them in the mail, and cross your fingers that the United States Postal Service will get it there on time. We are also planning for a mostly absentee ballot primary election on June 23rd. However, in-person early voting and election day voting will be allowed for the June 23rd primary, and that is on another piece of paper, which I am going to tell you now. Basically, it is Saturday and Sunday, June 13th and 14th. You will be able to vote from 12 to 5. Monday, June 15th from 8 to 4. Tuesday, June 16th from 12 noon to 8 p.m. Wednesday, June 17th, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Thursday, June 18th, 12 to 8. Friday, June 19th, 8 to 4. And then Saturday and Sunday, June 20th and 21st, 12 to 5. So there's lots of different times, hard to remember. I agree. The clerk's office in the town of Ossining is going to have all this information, and we will post it on our website at townofossining.com as well. And where is everybody going to vote, you ask? Well, that's going to be at the Ossining Community Center. So I feel like I skipped something, which I did. I don't know where it went up to, but okay, here we go. So you will be able to vote at the Ossining Community Center for if you're in Ossining, town of Ossining, any place in the town of Ossining, you can vote at the Ossining Community Center, and that's 95 Broadway in Ossining. So voters will be able to enter through the front door of the community center, where there will be a greeter who will ensure only people wearing a mask are allowed to enter. You will be given your own pen to use for voting, to be disposed of after voting. I'm sure you can keep your pen if you really want to. And you will then be directed to the art room where voting will occur. Gloves and hand sanitizer will also be available. You will then be asked to leave through the museum exit door to create a one-way in and a one-way out path for voters. For voting on June 23rd, registered voters who have not yet voted via absentee ballot will receive a notice in the mail directing them to vote at one of 2 polling places that will be open that day: the Community Center or Roosevelt Elementary School on Croton Avenue. You'll be required to go to your assigned polling place. Voting will be open from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. as usual, and similar protocols that one way in, one way out will be in place with a greeter as same as early voting. Please note, absentee ballots are still being processed and mailed out, so if you haven't received your absentee ballot in the mail yet, do not panic. If you submitted an application and have not yet received your ballot, it will likely be on its way shortly. If you choose to vote absentee, or if you chose to, your ballot must be postmarked by June 23rd. That's the ballot, not the application. The application, I actually don't have the date for when it needed to be postmarked by. Victoria, do you know that?
June 16th.
June 16th, which is coming up, but you still have a chance to send in your absentee ballot application, which you should have received in the mail. Everybody in New York State should have received one in the mail. You can still fill out your application for an absentee ballot, and if you get it back, hopefully you'll get it back in time so that you can vote by June 23rd, have it postmarked by then, and have it on its way back. You may also have seen that Governor Cuomo issued an executive order over the weekend relating to municipal operations. Since March 16th, all non-essential town staff have primarily been working remotely or taking turns, so very few people in our offices. However, as I hope you have all experienced, all of our offices, with the exception of the Justice Court, have remained fully operational. And we're just starting to get information today about how our Justice Court is going to come back online soon. So we've been able to process paperwork, answer phones, mail's been received and been sent from our offices. According to an executive order issued this weekend, municipal operations may resume at full staff as of Tuesday, June 29th, as long as all of the phases happen according to plan and we don't have to take any steps back, because we need to wait 2 weeks after we have been in phase, after we've been in
23rd, June 23rd.
Right, no, I have June 23rd, but it says 2 weeks after we've been in phase 2 for 2 weeks. No, it's after we've been in phase 2 for 2 weeks. Got it.
Yeah, after 2 weeks after phase 2 starts. So essentially, in theory, we would get to phase 3 if we continue on this path. But it doesn't say phase 3, it said 2 weeks after phase 2.
Right. So again, presuming that everything is okay and we don't go backwards and our numbers don't start to rise, which so far they've been looking very good. So we're closely evaluating how best to increase our in-person workforce in accordance with this change of policy, always looking to balance the safety of our employees with the needs of our constituents. As a reminder, our offices remain closed to the public and will likely remain so for the next several weeks, but there are opportunities to make appointments. If we need to, we will come meet you outside. We've been doing, a lot of things to meet people where they are at if need be, but we have not invited people back into the office yet. However, I did see some excellent work thanks to the Village of Ossining Public Works Department, and also their human resources. They've already started suiting up the building, the Armory building, so that when we are back up and running for the public, there are now plexiglass screens on all of the counters in the building department, in the town, and in the village, and in the DPW offices. So that's looking really great, and they're going to be moving to 16 Croton next, and really doing their best to outfit the first floor. And we're going to also be focusing on keeping as much business as possible on the first floor instead of having people travel throughout the building until we really know that we have a handle on this virus. And I'm going to say until there's a vaccine in place, because I can't imagine why else we would change our routines before that, but we will see. One more note on reopening. The town has partnered with the Greater Ossining Chamber of Commerce to create an economic recovery task force specifically for the North State Road businesses and other businesses located in the unincorporated town. We would like to invite all business owners in our neck of the woods to please consider joining this important discussion. There's a link to a short Google form on our website if you're interested in joining, or you can just shoot me an email at dlevenberg, Levenberg, @townofaustining.com, and I will gladly point you in the right direction. Finally, you know what I'm going to talk about, everybody. I once again will remind you to please fill out your 2020 census, because just so you don't have to hear from me anymore about this. Believe it or not, it was 89 days ago, March 12th, that the first census 2020 materials started arriving in our homes. Pretty crazy. Since then, right in the middle of the pandemic, across the county, the response rates have continued to inch up at a countywide rate of 61.7% right now, and just 6.2% away from the total countywide response rate of 2010. I guess that's our goal. I think our goal is to surpass 2010, especially since we all have the time to do this. Here in unincorporated town of Ossining, we are at 63.1%, and I think that leaves us about 6.5% away. It's either 6.2 or 6.5% away from where we left off, where we ended in 2010, which is slightly better than the county, but about the same percentage away from where we were in 2010. The Village of Ossining is 58.3%, and they're also in that 6 point a little bit away from their 2010 numbers, and the Village of Briarcliff is 76.6%. We can all do a lot better, so come on now, people, and fill out your census. Just answer me this. I'm praying that my entire board has filled out their census. Can you please shake your head yes if your census has been? Thank goodness. I don't know, Northern. I didn't see your head shaking. Yes, census? It's like, I don't know, Jesse did it. Holly Perlowitz, census done? Yeah, okay. Martha, your census? Okay, I'm not putting you on the spot. Everybody fill out your census if you haven't done it yet. Martha's like, my family member did. Everybody needs to fill out their census. If you didn't fill out your census, fill out your census. Please get your friends and family to fill out the census. Everybody. Okay, I think I said enough of that. Field operations for the 2020 census have started to resume, which means that we're going to start seeing people coming door to door in August if you haven't filled out your census. So if you don't want strangers knocking at your door, and who does? Nobody. Please fill out your census. Then you won't have them come to your door. Okay, it's just that simple. And we do want to get to 100%. Okay, that is enough about that. Do any of my colleagues have any other announcements? And I'm going to just say announcements and or liaison reports, because that's up next on the agenda. You can do them all together if you'd like.
I have a liaison report. The Recreation Advisory Board met last night, and I know many people are chomping at the bit to see if summer camp will go off or not. There hasn't really been a consensus yet. We're still waiting for guidance from the state as to what they're looking for and what the parameters are for camp. So before we get that, it's kind of hard to create camp.
Those did come out today, just so you know.
Oh, okay. So
Okay.
the meeting was last night.
Yes, and Bill Garrison, who's our Parks and Recreation Superintendent, did receive them today, because I did check. Yeah.
Great. But some of the parameters are I think they have to operate at like 25% capacity. I think that was the number that was tossed around. So if camp does happen, it's going to be very different than what people are used to. So one of the consensus that we did find is that the Parks and Rec will be doing different kinds of programs, whether it's kayaking. So they're working on some kind of programming for the summer. It's just, I don't think it'll be camp as we know it. So that's where they are right now.
And thank you for that. I am just going to add to that. We're very excited that we, through a grant through State Senator Carlucci's office, we were able to purchase a new dock for Cedar Lane Pond. And I'm mentioning this in the context of kayaking, because I know that there has been kayaking before at Cedar Lane Pond, and hopefully there might be again as part of the summer program. So we're waiting to get a little bit more direction on that from Bill Garrison. Bill and I spoke today also about the spray park. We still do not have approval to have the spray park open, but it is possible. We can request through the economic, what's ESD? ESD, anybody, do you remember?
Empire State
Empire
Development.
State.
Empire State Development. They're the ones kind of overseeing the whole New York Forward plan. We can request possibly that to open the spray park even without the formal guidance. And there have been guidelines issued by the New York State Parks Association. So Bill Garrison is going to be looking into that with us. Also, bathrooms, as I understand it, are supposedly going to be allowed to be open in parks starting June 23rd. We have been very busy working on updating all of the comfort stations throughout our parks, and we're hoping that we're going to have automatic soaps, automatic flushes in some case, I believe. I'm not 100% sure about the automatic flushes, and automatic paper towels, so we don't have to have a lot of high touch areas. It's my understanding that when the bathrooms do open, they will be limited to one person at a time. So we have a lot of signage that we have to get working on to remind people. And a spray park would have to have somebody there to manage the number of people and to make sure that people keep a distance. So we are hopeful that we can get it up at some point. Probably, I'm going to guess, is early July is going to be the soonest, but that is certainly a goal of ours. And finally, I think phase 4 is when we would be able to open up our ball fields and other play areas for contact sports. That's in phase 4. So that's probably going to be early July if everything again goes according to plan. And we're going to be working on everything that we can do to make sure all of our parks and public spaces are ready for those eventualities. Right now, the only other large gatherings that are allowed are graduation ceremonies outdoors starting, I think it is June 26th. Does that sound right? June 26th. And they're allowed to have 150 people all in. That includes every staff person from school, parents, graduates, etc. So I don't know that Austin's planning to change whatever their plan is right now. I think they're doing graduation today, tomorrow, and the next day. And they're having kids walking across the stage and receiving their diplomas. They're videotaping everything, and then they're going to have a parade, I want to say, and and then hopefully find a place maybe to show the video June 19th and 20th. Does that sound right? Anybody school district mama? Jackie Shaw, I'm going to ask you. No,
That does sound right.
That's approximately right. So school district is doing their best also to find summer opportunities for our children. Parks are going to be doing their best. Part of the problem is if it isn't camp, then it's recreation and it doesn't start until phase 4, which again is probably pretty close to when camp would normally have started anyway, just maybe a week late. So anyway, working hard. Thank you for all the work from the Recreation Advisory Board. Continuing with my colleagues, does anybody else have any announcements, or if even you had any questions about my announcements, feel free. Otherwise, we're going to launch into our meeting. All right, fantastic. So with that, we had done liaison reports, and now we are at our public comment on agenda items. We have one member of the public here who happens to also work for the town, and she has no comments. Okay, so hearing none, let's move into our board resolutions, please. Madam Deputy Clerk.
Okay, approval of minutes, regular meeting, May 26, 2020. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby approves the May 26, 2020 minutes of the regular meeting as presented.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Anybody opposed? Okay.
Approval of voucher detail report. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby approves the voucher detail report dated June 9th, 2020 in the amount of $299,673.19.
Do you have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? I just want to
I
thank,
see that the doc's in there, but we get that back from the grant.
we do. I do want to mention that the dock is not formally and officially open yet because there's a couple of little details that we still have to attend to. So if you see some caution tape up over the dock, please expect it.
Is it
yes.
water level or
Water level?
higher? I'll go see.
It's about the same, I think, as it was. It's a floating dock. It's a floating dock. So it's on.
Water level. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. And it looks beautiful. Okay, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody opposed?
Personnel reclassification of title, Parks Department. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby reclassifies the title of Jose Ramon Castro from laborer to parks groundskeeper. Step 1, effective June 15, 2020 at a prorated annual salary of $62,480 for 2020.
Do I have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second. Okay.
Second.
Okay. So we have two resolutions in a row on our agenda. Yes, two Jose's who currently work at Dale Cemetery and have worked there for many years. As we entered union negotiations with our Teamsters last fall, we began to think hard about how we could better take advantage of the personnel resources we already had on our staff. Jose and Jose had been working exclusively in the cemetery, but we discovered that with some coordination, they could join forces with our parks crew to tend to our parks and cemeteries as one larger crew. So we did a little test run. It's been working pretty smoothly. Tonight, we are formally reclassifying Jose and Jose as Parks groundskeepers at step 1 so they can officially become part of our Parks crew. So congratulations to Jose and Jose, and thank you so much for your service to the town, especially in these new roles. Do I have a motion? Did I
So
already
moved.
have a motion? Okay, I already took a motion. Okay, sorry. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Personnel reclassification of title, Parks Department. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin hereby reclassifies the title of Jose Juan Castro from laborer to Parks groundskeeper, step 1, effective June 15, 2020, at a prorated annual salary of $62,480 for 2020.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Change in town board meeting schedule for July and August 2020. Be it resolved, the town board hereby cancels the work session schedule for July 7th, July 21st, August 4th, and August 18th, 2020. And be it further resolved, any work session agenda items will be heard at the town board's legislative sessions held on July 14th, July 28th, August 11th, and or August 25th, 2020. And be it further resolved, in the event that the town board determines it is necessary to hold a work session other than the above referenced legislative sessions, such work sessions will be scheduled and noticed as required by law. And be it further resolved, the town clerk is hereby directed to provide notice of the cancellation of the above referenced work sessions as required by law.
Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
So as you hopefully all recall, at our last work session, we discussed revising our meeting schedule for the summer. Tonight, we have a resolution to formalize this revised schedule, which includes canceling our work sessions during the months of July and August, and including any work session discussion items onto our legislative session agendas. We'll closely monitor our workload, and we can always add dates back on if need be. We just think that this is making a better use of everybody's time, and our meetings have, in general, been fairly swift, so we think that this will be effective. Any questions, discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Thank you.
Approval of contract with CSEA regarding 2019 carryover vacation. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin authorizes the supervisor to sign a stipulation of agreement with Civil Service Employees Associates Incorporation, CSEA, Local 1000 AFS, CME, Town of Austin, 860, extending the deadline by which unit members can utilize 2019 carryover accrued vacation from June 30th until August 31st, 2020.
I think we all have that in front of us because I lost you on a couple of those words. But okay, so due to the COVID, is that okay? Do we need to reread that, or do you think that we're okay?
Maybe reread it.
Okay.
Yeah, I had it.
Reread it, and Victoria, can I ask you just to mute everybody except for Martha? Just make sure that we can hear her better.
I think it was the way Martha was sitting against her computer.
I
Martha,
think she wasn't talking into the
the agenda
microphone.
like on your computer, like right in, like so, like in front of you, because then you're. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, if you put it, we won't see
I
it.
have it like right next to it's on my iPad.
Oh, okay. All right, go ahead. I'm just trying to make it so that, because for whatever reason, when you look down, like we lose some of the words.
Really? Okay, hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me pull it up here then.
Just since these Zoom meetings are like our official record kind of right now, we just want to make sure.
Here we go. Hold on. Approval of contract with CSEA regarding 2019 carryover vacation. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austin authorizes the supervisor to sign a stipulation of agreement with Civil Service Employees Association Incorporated, CSEA, Local 1000, AFS, CME, AFL-CIO, Town of Austin Unit, Westchester County Local 860, extending the deadline by which unit members can utilize 2019 carryover accrued vacation from June 30th until August 31st, 2020.
Fantastic. Heard every word. Thank you. Okay, all those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Due to the COVID pandemic and restrictions on our workforce, many of our town staff have been unable to utilize their carryover. I know I didn't take a motion, but I will. 2019 vacation by the deadline of June 30th. So due to these extenuating circumstances, and because we already have a way to approach this with our Teamsters Union, We approached our CSEA unit with a solution that will hopefully work for most, allowing the unit members to continue to carry over vacation time from 2019 through the end of August. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any questions or discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I'm sorry, I got thrown off by the reading. Okay.
Resignation Ethics Board resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austin hereby accepts with regret the resignation of Nadia Bernstein from the Town of Austin Ethics Board effective June 9th, 2020.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
So Nadia Bernstein has been on the town's ethics board for a few years now. She recently submitted her letter of resignation from this volunteer appointment. We thank you, Nadia, for your service to the town. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Resolution of support S3695 Bailey slash 82513 O'Donnell bill to repeal Section 50A of the Civil Rights Law, whereas the recent murders of George Floyd, Tony McDade, and Breonna Taylor, and unfortunately many other Black people at the hands of the police have brought strong calls from the community for government leaders to take transformative actions to address systematic racism which has pervaded our country for far too long. And whereas Section 50A of the Civil Rights Law relating to the personnel records of police officers, firefighters, and correction officers currently prevents the misconduct and disciplinary records of officers from being made public, allowing for abusive officers to continue to act with impunity. And whereas there is a bill currently under consideration by the New York State Senate and Assembly, S3695 Bailey slash 82513 O'Donnell, to immediately repeal Section 50A of the Civil Rights Law, finally bringing to light records which will hopefully lead to better accountability of police across New York State. Now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Austin hereby expresses its support for New York State Senate Assembly Bill S3695 Bailey 82513 O'Donnell, which would immediately repeal Section 50A of the Civil Rights Law, finally allowing the misconduct and disciplinary records of police officers to be made public, and urges members of the New York State Senate and Assembly to lead during this important time by taking whatever legislative actions may be necessary to dismantle systematic racism in the state of New York. And be it further resolved that this resolution be circulated to New York State Senate Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins, New York State Assembly Speaker Carl Hasty, New York State Senator David Carlucci, and New York State Assemblywoman Sandy Gala, stating the support of the Town Board of the Town of Austin for this necessary legislation.
And also to the sponsors. We can add those on, friendly amendment. Thank you. So can I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, well, as I mentioned in my announcements, we've heard across the state calls for the repeal of 50A of the Civil Rights Law, which restricts public access to misconduct and disciplinary records of police officers in New York State. In fact, this restrictive law was not even in place in Minneapolis where this horror happened. So it's not like it's any kind of solution, it's just a step. There's currently a bill under consideration in Albany, as we mentioned, to immediately repeal this law, which has allowed police misconduct to be essentially swept under the rug and out of the public eye. Now is the time to call for change. And through this resolution, the Town Board asserts our support of transformative change on a more broad state level. I look forward to casting my eye, or A or I, in support of this important legislation. Are there any questions? Does anybody else want to say anything about this?
I think it's a good first step. I know there's a lot more steps to go.
I think I just want to make you aware that Greg Meyer, Councilman Greg Meyer, works for the state Senate, so he's going to have to abstain from this. But I also think, from our insider knowledge, Councilman Meyer, are they voting on this tonight in the Senate, or is it already a done deal?
Yeah, they're doing it today. They actually did in the Senate already today, so we're good there. I think the Assembly's doing it tonight.
So I'm just going to ask the Clerk Carefully to shoot it up, any emails that you might have for Assembly and Assembly member and Senator, and hopefully they will have it at least in front of them and know that we had supported it. Anybody else? Councilman Wiltshire, Councilwoman Shaw, anybody other comments?
No comment.
All right, so with that, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oh, actually abstain, I'm sorry.
And abstentions? Okay, got it. And I know nobody's opposed, correct? I just want to make sure I hear everybody's voices. Okay, thank you.
Can I ask you a question? Where's Martha? Wherever she is, it's a beautiful behind her. The flowers are beautiful.
Thank
Oh,
you. It's
I
the
know.
background. It's the background that I chose today.
That's beautiful.
It is, yes, I was commenting, my favorite flower is hydrangea. Okay, wonderful. So correspondence to be received and filed?
Resolved that the town board of the town of Austining hereby accepts the following planning board minutes, May 6, 2020 and May 20th, 2020.
Do you have a motion?
So
So
moved.
moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Thank you. Any abstentions? Okay.
And then some monthly reports. Resolved that the town board of the town of Austining hereby accepts the following monthly reports for the month of May 2020. Town clerk's office, tax receiver's office, Dale Cemetery, town building department, and GE helicopter.
Do you have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, with that, we will go to visitor recognition. Any visitors shall be accorded 1 4-minute opportunity to speak. Is there anybody here to address the town board or who would like to? And seeing heads shaking? No? One head? Thank you to our tax receiver, Holly Perlowitz, for joining us on this meeting and for shaking her head in the no direction. Without any further ado, I would like to take a motion to go into executive session for personnel, advice of counsel, and contracts. Do I
So
have
moved.
Second.
Second.
all those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, we are going to continue in phase 2 with everybody. If you have any questions, any concerns, please make sure that you email us or call us 762-6001, and we will direct you to resources to help guide you and continue to work together with our community to get us back safely on track. And we hope that you have a wonderful week, and we will see you back here for a work session next Tuesday, June 16th. June 16th.
16th.
Okay, have a wonderful week, everybody, and we'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Aye.